Hey everyone, Lydia here from Build Yourself Inside, and congratulations to those of you who are at home right now on a Saturday night. I'm telling you, I feel pretty good being home right now because, I've been so busy, and life for me isn't about going out and partying anymore and shopping and doing all this stuff. It's about putting in the work in something that I love doing. So when you actually stop worrying about what other people think, when you literally stop worrying about what other people think of you, you don't really care about being out on a Saturday night. You'd rather be doing what that makes you happy, right? Whether it's relaxing or reading a book, and you have goals. So hopefully you're not sitting home depressed that you don't have a date, or that you're not out with your friends, or you're missing a party, right? I mean, in order to really have a great life, you have to learn to be comfortable with being by yourself and learn to be happy with yourself. So take this time, and if you're not doing anything right now, get a book, read something, start packing some knowledge in your head, okay? Just a little lesson for you. But that's besides the point of this video. So recently, I have been dealing with a lot of people, and I don't like that word dealing. I've been working with a lot of people. I've been in communication with a lot of people who are telling me something. They're telling me one thing, but their actions are proving another. And I'm going to go into more detail about this. So I was recently dating someone who was doing this. I have clients doing this, and I think a lot of the time, the people who are, people have this amazing ability. We're the only species on this planet who can talk and say a bunch of stuff and do the complete opposite, right? We can say that we're good at this and we're confident in that. We don't care what this person thinks, when actually, or subconsciously, we do care. For instance, there will be people, I'll have friends tell me straight out that, oh, I'm not worried about what this person thinks, I'm not worried about that. But what happens is they have an emotional reaction to that person. And as long as you're having an emotional reaction to a person or a situation or a circumstance, that means you are emotionally vulnerable to that person or that situation. So it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter how confident you think you are, or what situation it is, as long as you're going to have an emotional reaction, whether it's a shock or fear or sadness and depression, then you do care about what that person thinks, or what that group of people thinks, or what this company thinks about you, whatever it is, right? And I'm really beginning to notice this, and this is why I love doing what I do and evaluating people and their behavior, is that I'm really learning where the gaps are so I can help people fill those in. So what I'm really noticing is that people keep telling me that, yeah, I want it. I do want this. I do want to look good. I do want a healthy relationship. I want to feel better about myself. I'm getting a lot of this. But their actions prove otherwise. And I recently just fired a client because of this, because they were all gung-ho at the very beginning. They were like, yeah, I have a wedding coming up, and I want to get into shape, and I want to look good, so I'm excited to get started, right? I feel the excitement, so I'm excited to get started. But it's just like a relationship, right? People who are just getting together, or just embarking on a new adventure, it's always exciting, right? But what tends to happen down the road is reality begins to surface. We start to get tired. We stop putting on our best selves. We stop doing certain things. We stop caring about certain things. We realize that maybe I don't want to do the work, this amount of work, this is not worth it, right? I mean, everything sounds good at the beginning. Everything sounds amazing. Oh, you can help me get into shape and have the body of my dreams? Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Or you could help me get that amazing confidence, that self-esteem, so I can walk the world like it's a runway? Yeah, let's go. But what happens is people tend to emotionally start to pull the plugs because they realize it takes a lot of internal work. And like I said in my other videos, that word work, they have to, right? We have to do things that are emotionally exhausting, that are emotionally laboring, that requires effort on our part, effort outside of our everyday activities, outside of our everyday hobbies, outside of going to work and doing all the things that we need to do to get to day, right? We need to start adding in new things. We need to start creating new habits, right? And the thought of creating a new habit or cramming a new one into already hectic lives that we have is what separates the people who really want it. Okay, I'm talking true desire. And there is an enormous difference in the attitudes between the people who have that desire and the people who it just sounds like a good idea to. It just sounds like it's like a fantasy, right? In fact, I've noticed a new breed of people. I've noticed a new breed of men and women, and that's people who are aware of personal development, that like they know they can get better at things. They know they can get better at finance, and they know they can get better at understanding the opposite sex, and they know they can get better with their health. And they even have books and they watch things, but they're still not doing anything. And I didn't know this existed, to be honest. I mean, I've been on one spectrum and I've been on the other. I don't want to do anything, I don't care, I'm not going to read anything, I'm not going to hire anyone, to I will do everything, I will hire anyone, I will spend any amount of money, right? I've been on one or the other. I didn't realize there was kind of this gray area. So that's really what I want to address in this. What happens when you truly desire something versus just wanting something, right? Wanting is all language and words. Talking is easy. Talk is cheap. People can say whatever they want. It requires no effort, right? But when it comes down to what it's going to take, that's where people tend to fall back. And what happens when you truly desire something? Something else takes over. Another force takes over. You go from wanting something to needing it, to not being able to live the way that you are anymore. For another day, for another second. You can't take any more of the regret. You can't take any more of the emotional beating. You can't take any more rejection. You can't take any more physical pain. Maybe you have substantial health issues, right? Most people are motivated by pain. They're motivated by negative emotions to get their butt moving, right? That just gets them started, right? Motivation is not something you can rely on to get it from A to B, but it's something people use to get them started. So whether it's spite or they're tired of feeling a certain way, they just want to do what they can to get rid of that feeling that they're having. And that's also a reason why a lot of people give up, is because they just get far enough to the point where that fear or that negative feeling is just at arm's length. That's just at arm's length, so they're okay. They just want to be comfortable. And so they stop working on what they're trying to do. When really there is no end. There is no end to the journey. There's no B, really. There's no A to B. I feel like there's like when you actually are consciously aware of the fact that there is no finish line, you'll just begin to be happy with the growth that you're making every single day. You'll be happy with what you see every single day because you're living to your potential every day. You're living up to your own expectations every single day. But I don't want to go too much off topic here. What I wanted to address in this video was, you can tell yourself that you want something, all you want. You can announce it to the world. You can post it on Facebook. You can tell your parents or your brother or sister, your friends, or whatever, your spouse. And what happens when the rubber hits the road? Right? A lot of people give up. Because it's still just a want to them. It's still just a fantasy. It's still just a nice to have. But when it becomes a need, when it becomes something you can no longer tolerate, that it's causing you so much pain, and then you finally realize that nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is coming to get you off the ground. Nobody is coming. But there are people who are out there who will reach out to help you. But you have to reach out as well. You have to put out your hand, and you have to put out your own hand and grab theirs. Because they're not coming down to get you. Because they're not going to accept a weak person. They want somebody who's ready and willing to do what they have to do to make the changes in their life, because it will require work. It will require emotional labor. It will require changing your belief system. It will require changing the way you do things every day. You will have to instill new habits. You will have to maybe stop doing certain things, right? Maybe you're going to the gym too much. Maybe you're not going to the gym enough, right? This was a problem I had. I was doing too much at the gym. I was spending 3 hours every day. Every day. I didn't miss a day. You know? That's just the type of person I have. I do one extreme and I go to the other. So I have to learn to back the throttle. And it's that fear of not being comfortable anymore that scares people the most, because we're habitually inclined to be comfortable, and what's comfortable to us is not scary anymore to us. But once we start doing new things, once we start creating new habits, once we start facing our fears, right, things get uncomfortable. You begin to feel kind of loose and uncertain. You have no more certainty. You don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. You don't know what yourself is going to bring. You don't know what you're going to do anymore. And it's being able to live with that uncertainty. There's a quote that I love from Tony Robbins, and I've heard it over and over again, and that's, your quality of life is in direct proportion with the amount of discomfort that you can handle on a daily basis. So if you are open to new things, if you're open to new people, and this has been a big challenge for me, is opening myself up to meeting new people, to making new friends, right? Because I had such a structure in place. I didn't want to fuck up with my structure. I wanted to be at the gym at a certain time. I wanted to get out of work at a certain time. I wanted to be in a certain place. I needed to keep this structure. And what I found out was that rigid structure that I wasn't allowing to change over time was actually causing me more pain. I wasn't allowing myself to grow at all. But I'm getting off the topic here. So when you're fed up enough, when you can no longer take it anymore, something happens, another force takes over, and you will start moving. And I'll do a video on how to really permanently take care of bad habits. And it's not through willpower, and it's not through motivation. I'll do this next time. I feel like this is really something people struggle with, is going to their fridge in the middle of the night, or sabotaging relationships, or emotional spending, or they just do things to sabotage themselves, and a lot of it's just they're unaware that they're doing it. Like literally they're unconscious of their own behavior. So I will do a video on that next. But I want for those people to know out there who are sitting there and they're telling themselves, I want that. Are you saying that you want it? Or it just sounds nice, like a nice idea? And the way to really turn this around is to just let things go. Let things continue to go downhill. Don't turn it around with willpower. Don't turn it around with motivation. Don't turn it around with all these, inspirational things, that's nice to have, right? That's a nice thing to have to push you forward, but that's not going to keep you going. Because motivation is not always going to be around. You're not always going to be motivated when you're injured or you're sick. You're down for the count, when you get rejected, when you get dumped. You're not always going to be motivated, so you need something to keep you there going through that. And that thing is awareness. So, rewatch this if you have to. Share this with other open-minded people. I'm going to check out. I have a lot of things to do that I need to do for my coaches. And stay up. I'm sorry, don't stay up. I'll be up late. But stay tuned for more. Website's coming soon with a blog. I am definitely doing, as you can see, I'm shooting out a lot of videos. And let me know what you guys want to hear. Let me know what you want to learn. Comment on this video, and I'm checking out. All right, guys. Good night.